First of all, we'll just start off the white butter sauce. And this is not a hollandaise because it's got no eggs, but it's similar sort of flavourings. And what we do is we just put 1/2 to 3/4 cup of white wine in a small pot with about 1/2 a small finely chopped red onion, and we just reduce that. Now you know what reducing means. What we do is we put it in there and boil it until there's 1/2 as much as there was at the beginning. That's reducing. Simple. All right, next. I've just got some nice pieces of salmon. I just bought a couple of salmon steaks like that and have cut them in half. Just make sure all the bones are out. There's always pin bones along there, so make sure you take them out. You see what I've got. You can take them out with your fingers, with pliers, even with, what do they call them? Oh, I've forgotten the name. I'll think about that in a minute. Anyway, fingers, pliers at this moment, and I'll think what else you can take them out. Tweezers, that's what it is. You can take them out with tweezers. To follow that, I'm just going to wrap them in lettuce. Now use iceberg lettuce for this. Don't use anything fancy, because you just need something that's crisp and fresh tasting and doesn't take over. So you don't want a bitter lettuce. And we'll just cut that. I've removed any of the outer leaves that are a bit rough, by the way, and I have also washed it well. And what we do is just put it in a piece of lettuce like that, which we've just neatened up, and add a squeeze of fresh lime, just the smallest amount of lime, and then wrap it up just like that. And you can leave it just exactly like that, or you can then just wrap those underneath. I think it's fine like that. Just one little thing, when you put it into the steamer, make sure that the seam is underneath. Otherwise it'll just come apart, won't it? Sounds pretty logical to me. And just into a steamer. Now just one of these Asian steamers, the best idea, and this is a rather clever idea actually. I don't know who thought of it, but I think it might have been me. Just one of those Asian steamers on top of this electric wok is great. And we cook that fairly gently. And what we also do, which doesn't hurt, is, just before I forget, we just sprinkle a little bit more lime juice over the top, and maybe the smallest amount more white wine, just to help that cook. Now, it's going to collapse that lettuce, which is fine, so if it looks a bit rough at this stage, you don't worry about that too much. What I will also do while that's happening is I'm just going to grate some lime rind into this mixture, and I'll also put a little bit of lime juice while this is reducing, because I want this to have a limey flavour. Look, if you can't get limes, use lemons for both things. I think the lime just is a little bit more special. All right, now we'll just juice that and throw that in as well. I'll use a juicer for this because sometimes with limes it's hard to get all their juice out. It's such a waste if you're just using. It's different when you're squeezing it over the top of a bit of fish, but when you want a decent amount of juice for this, you do use a juicer. I've got that other half there, I'll use that as well. All right, we'll throw that in. See, that's reducing quite heavily there. So we'll only reduce that a little bit more. Just have a look in there, Noel. Can you see that? See the small amount of liquid that's left? That's about what I want. And now I'll add a little bit of cream to that. Just a smidgen. Well, that was a smidgen, wasn't it? Yeah. And grab a wooden spoon and just mix that in well, and then we'll let that reduce a little bit more too. And while that's happening, I'm just going to just chop up a little bit of parsley ready for when the fish and everything's ready. All right, now we'll just move that to the side, and let's just grab some unsalted butter and make sure it's pretty hard. You don't want soft butter when you're making this white butter sauce. And all you do is cut it into cubes. Or if there's parsley in it, that doesn't matter. Now that's too much, but I don't know why I got a bit excited there. I was thinking I was cooking for about 20. See, I'm used to cooking for big numbers. And what we now do is we just start adding that piece by piece to this. Now, you don't want it full on the heat all the time, so you can just lift it off every now and then, because if it's full on the heat, what will happen is you just end up with sort of brown butter because it just melts and goes away, because what we're trying to do is make a sauce. See, that's looking pretty good. You can see that's a sauce. You see what I mean? So it's lighter than a hollandaise because it hasn't got the egg in it. And as you can see, I also didn't need all that butter, did I? I put that back. Don't know what happened there. I got a bit excited. I do that. So we will also add some seasoning. Now, don't say to me, why don't you use salted butter? Salted butter actually has got quite a lot of salt in it. And I want this to be delicately seasoned, so I'm seasoning it to order, or seasoning it to taste. And I'm just going to taste it. Gee, that's good. Aren't I biased? What do you think I'm going to say? No, jokes aside, that is absolutely delightful. Nice, delicate lime flavour. Oh, Huey, you've done well. Now, the fish, which is also looking good. Let's just grab our fish slice. And certainly, only a couple of these will be enough. Now, you can then neaten it up if need be. Actually, I don't think that needs it. That's fine. But if the lettuce is looking a bit, how's your father, because it's all come apart, you neaten it up. But as I said, that's looking fine. And then we just grab this lovely sauce. You can put that underneath if you like, or over the top. The choice is yours. I actually quite like a bit of it over the top. It just gives a bit of a gleam. A little bit more parsley sprinkled over that. And as I said to you before, nice, delicate flavours, but a very, very classy dish.